Today's going to be a good one. I'm just telling you right now.
Good morning and welcome to Hashtag Rise and Grind. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to seven, and the creator of what is going to be the #1 most watched morning show in the world. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Today is Friday. I love Fridays because we get to bring guests on the show here on Hashtag Rise and Grind. But today is Friday, February 22nd, 2019. That's right, Friday, February 22nd, 2019. And what's crazy is it is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Friday, February 22nd, 2019. So we want to make sure we make the absolute most out of this incredible day. And it is going to be an incredible day. I can tell you. Today we've got my man Ian Humphrey on the show. I'm trying to find the show so I can see you guys. For some reason it's not popping up on my Facebook. You know how Facebook can be. There you go. So we've got my man Ian Humphrey on the show today. Now Ian, I came across Ian watching videos online. I'm popping into all these different videos. I come across this Goalcast video, which you guys know I'm a big Goalcast fan. I came across this Goalcast video, and Ian Humphrey literally tore me down. This dude had me in tears, man. He had me in tears because he tells an incredible story of getting back up. He tells an incredible story of getting back up, and he's going to share some stuff with you guys today. He's waiting in the green room right now, and I can't wait to bring him in because it's just so crazy, man. I think about it sometimes, like for several years, I've watched and studied different, speakers and different videos from all over the place. Of course, you've got, Maxwell and Les Brown and Eric Thomas and guys like Ian Humphrey. And I've watched this stuff for years, and the more I've dove in to that world, the more of these people I've had a chance to meet, get to know on a personal level, shake their hands. I've met Maxwell, I've met Les, I've met Eric. Now we've got Ian on the show. I'm looking forward to getting to know him better. But it's crazy how when you really get intentional and you really start to dive into certain areas, you begin to attract those like-minded individuals, right? You start to, we talked about it on the show the other day, you start to cultivate that network, right? Everybody says your network is your net worth, but they leave out the part where you have to cultivate that network. You can't just stand around and create the most incredible network. You got to actually cultivate it. You got to put in work. You got to study. You got to become an attractive person where you can attract like-minded individuals so that you can grow your network, so that you can add value into their life and they can add value into yours. Pretty incredible. So Ian Humphrey, he's one of these incredible speakers that I've been listening to, and I just love the message that he's got. He's a powerful speaker with a powerful story. He went from parentless. He's had moments in his life where he was abused and broken. He's been in jail, but he's also had moments of revelation. He's also serving. He goes out there and continues to serve and speak and share his testimony and lift and encourage other people. He's got a book that he wrote called It's Not About the Knockdown. Overall, he's just an amazing human being. I am so thankful he's here with us, and I'm excited to share him with you. But before we bring Ian on, you know what we got to do. Let's see which song we want to go with today. I'm feeling like, let's go here. Yeah, let me see. Yep. We're going to go with this one today. This is the part of the show. For those of you that know, and those of you that didn't know, this is the part of the show where I need you to hit that share button. That's right. I need you to hit that share button, because I believe if we could change the way people start their day, we can make a massive impact on this planet. And sometimes all it takes to change somebody's day is for you to pop something into their feed that they weren't expecting, and it changes everything, especially if you could pop Ian Humphrey into their feed today. This is also the part of the show where I want you to say good morning to me and I'm going to say good morning to you. Whether you're watching live on replay, make sure to say what's up. Good morning, Bruce Miller out there in New Orleans. How you doing, Amy Bach? Mr. John Allen, how are you, sir? T. Lynch is up in here this morning, and Sandra Benstock DeLolio. What's up, Janelle Griego and Kagan Sharp? How you doing, Leanne Ryan-Smith? Gail B. Craft's up in here. Carissa Jones. What's up, Josh? Oh, Archie's up in here, and Leon O'Brien's up in here. How you doing, Susan Rose? I love it. Sylvia Correa and Faye Giles. How are you doing? Who else? Naomi Bussinger. We've got all kinds of people in here. You guys keep loading the feed. It's hard to sort it. What's up, Scott Simon? Vicky Everett. I love it. Carrie Lynn Carter's in here. Ray Hatcher's in here. My man Josh Wilson. Liza Myers-Borges. She's out there running right now. Hopefully, it's probably snowing. She's out there running in the snow. What's up, David Perrin and Lisa Guillen? What's up, Marcus Stone and Richard Pintrick, Brian Larkin, everybody. I love it. I love it. I love it. Boom. Let's clear this music real quick. Let's get this thing going. My man Ian's in the background like, come on, bring me out. I know he's ready to come out and breathe into you guys today. I absolutely know that he is ready. Look, before I bring him on, I got to tell you one more time, Hustle and Grind Con, filled with powerful speakers. It's coming up. It's only 6 weeks away. If you haven't got your tickets yet for Hustle and Grind Con, I need you to go out there and do that. Head to hustlegrindcon.com and get your tickets, man. Powerful speakers are going to be on the stage. It's an incredible networking opportunity. It's going to be unlike anything you've ever been a part of. And we partnered up with carloans.com. And being partnered up with carloans.com, we've been able to do incredible things with our hustle houses. We're going to have catered meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Exclusive mastermind sessions in the hustle houses. It's just going to be absolutely over the top, unlike anything you've ever been to before. So the clock is ticking on that. We're down to about 6 weeks. I guess, 6 weeks, right at 6 weeks. And so if you haven't got your tickets yet, make sure you go on and do that. All right. Now, with no further ado, I want to bring to you my man, and make sure I don't mess this up. I'm always trying to be smooth in the transitions. I'm going to bring to you my man, Mr. Ian. Oh, there we go. My man. Good morning, Ian. How are you, sir?
Good morning. What's going on, my man?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Ian, I am so glad you're here, man. Everybody's got to know. It is 3:30 in the morning where you're at. Where are you at right now?
I'm in Colorado, brother. And it is 3:30. Yes.
It is 3:30 in the morning, man. I can't tell you how much I appreciate, and I know the group appreciates you getting up at who knows what time you had to get up because you look clean, right? You're all cleaned up. You got the shirt on. You got the buttons, you know. So I don't know what time you had to get up, but I know it was early. But I really appreciate you getting up early to come join us here on #RiseAndGrind, man. It means a lot to me.
Thank you for having me, my man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So talking about getting up, obviously this is a morning show, right? We like to rise early. And the reason part of the reason we created this show is as I've studied success and successful people, I've found that it seems like most of the successful people out there have a pretty solid morning routine. What does your morning routine look like? How do you wake up and attack the day every day?
I'm an early riser. I get up. And, as we were talking about earlier, I'm a general manager at a successful business here in Colorado, as well as a speaker. And I usually get into my office. The day starts for my men between 6 and 7. And I get up at the same time no matter what. So I get into the office at about 4:30 every morning. And that's just my quiet time ritual. I get there, I'll read, I'll study, I'll work on some projects. I'll listen to something motivational. That's a big part of my day, man. I always listen to something that's going to kind of just light that fire underneath me. And I feed my mind with something positive. So that's how it starts for me. So,
man, that's beautiful. So the quiet place is actually at the office for you, right?
Yeah.
And that's because you had 4 babies in the house for a long time, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You gotta have that quiet spot,
Yes.
the getaway room, So for me, it's been the office,
Right, right. So in at 4:30, feeding the mind, taking that time, and that's what we talk about often. Here in the group is that you really just have to take that time to yourself before you let the world kind of get at you, right? And you gotta prepare. Preparation is key, right?
That's right. You got to find that peace within yourself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, Ian, tell everybody a little bit more. Obviously, we've watched your video. Maybe not everybody. There's 100 people on here this morning, and a lot of them might be newer viewers. So, but most of us have watched your video on Goldcast, where you talked about today is a great day to be alive, and your grandmother being your hero. Would you share just a little bit of that story with us here this morning for those who maybe haven't seen the whole video yet?
Sure. Yeah, in that video, I was speaking to a group. It was a children's home. So it was a home where children lived, abused children, children that just didn't have any place to go. So they would go to school there.
Mm-hmm.
And, a little bit about me, what I was talking about in that video is I was born and raised in LA, and I came into this world two months premature after my mom was attacked by a neighbor. This woman poured this pot of boiling water onto my mom. My mom tumbled down, fell down a flight of stairs, and that's how I came into this world. So I came into this world literally just fighting for my life.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom received third-degree burns over 25% of her body, and as you can imagine, when she was allowed to leave the hospital, she was in a great deal of pain. You're talking about this water that barely missed her face, landed on her upper chest, her upper torso. And when she left the hospital, man, they prescribed a heavy pain medication. This was in 1972. And when she took that medication, it was hard for her to take care of me on top of trying to recover from those burns.
Mm-hmm.
So I bounced around a lot. I stayed with family members, friends, and then back to my mom's house. Did that for the first 3 years of my life. And at the age of 3, I was back in my mom's house. You've got little babies, I'm assuming, at home, or if you've had some 3-year-olds at home, they get into stuff.
Oh yeah, all the
They
time.
become mobile. You can't contain them.
That's right.
And at 3 years old, I got into my mom's purse. I found that medicine, and this was before they had the safety. I mean, if you take any medication now, if it could be a gummy vitamin, it's got that safety cap on it. You got to know kung fu or karate to get the cap off, right?
Right.
And in 72, it wasn't like that. You could open it like Tic Tacs, and I opened it. I swallowed everything in it. And when they found me, they rushed me to the hospital. My heart stopped multiple times, and I eventually went into a coma. And as a result of that, the state of California did an investigation. They determined it was my mom's fault, and they removed me from her home. I was made a ward of the state and placed in the foster care system. And that's really it just went downhill from there.
Yeah.
After being placed in one of these foster homes, my foster mom, for whatever reason, I don't know, but she started locking me inside of a closet. And it was in that foster home that I was mentally, physically, and I was sexually abused. And I often tell people that, I used to believe that those were the worst things that could happen to anyone. But as I got older, I realized that the worst thing Miss Alexander would do wasn't the physical abuse. I've got a third-degree burn here on my hand that she put there with an iron. But all that pain went away. The worst thing she would do was she would open that closet door. She would stand over me and she would say, "You ain't gonna never amount to nothing." And I say that I didn't realize it until years later, but I realized that I was carrying that belief with me for a long time.
Yeah, man.
And I ended up staying in that foster home until I was 9 years old. So for 6 years, I was in the foster care system. And I didn't know it, but my grandmother, and that's why I said my grandmother was my hero.
Right.
My grandmother, she was battling in the state of California. And I don't know why, but my maternal grandmother had to fight the state of California to prove that she could take care of me.
Right.
And eventually they granted her full custody of me, and she came and she picked me up. And that was the happiest day. One of the happiest memories that I have in my life, Glenn, was my grandmother pulling up in this lime green Oldsmobile, man, ugliest car I'd ever seen in my life. But she
Man, when
drove.
you tell that story in your speech, I can picture it. I can picture her with the Coke bottle glasses and everything. Man, I love how you tell that story.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a moment for me, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And she got me home, and everything was okay for a while. I had because I was with my family now,
Right.
and not only that, but I found out that my mom was going back and forth to court as well, trying to prove that she was well enough to take care of me.
Hmm.
She had been in and out of convalescent homes. She was really sick, and she had kind of started to get better, or she got well enough where she could at least start that fight.
Right.
But the state of California, it was mandated that I couldn't spend any time alone with my mom because of
Right.
that accident.
Sure.
So to be close to me, she rented a house behind my grandmother's
Mm.
just to be close to me. And every day after school, I wasn't supposed to go to my mom's house, but you know where I went.
Yeah, man. Of
I
course.
went to mama's house. And, we had all these conversations, and we had all these things that I really wanted to that we had to look forward to. But the truth, Glenn, is I really just wanted to be reunited with my mom.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And unfortunately, it never happened. I was 12 years old, and we get a knock on the door about 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's my mom's roommate, and she's banging on the door, and she's screaming at the top of her lungs, and that's what woke me up.
Hmm.
And words that she said, I'll never forget. She said, "Jewel, come quick, it's Ruth." And she said, "I think she's dead." She said, "I can't wake her up. I think she's dead."
Right. Mm.
And that was really a turning point for me in my life at 12 years old. It was as though my whole entire life, Glenn, I had been knocked down,
Hmm.
but I refused to fall. I refused to fall after all those things happened. But once my mom was taken away from me,
Yeah, man.
I gave up.
That was that breaking point. That
Yeah,
especially, I mean, you're 12 years old. You're just now, experiencing what it's like to have your mom close. You guys are getting close. You're talking. You're dreaming. You're looking towards a future after being through all of that. I mean, I can only imagine how most people would have probably broken prior to when you did. You had the strength to get to that point. So I could only imagine being 12 years old, living through that, how that had to definitely take you, in the direction. And then you continue to tell in your story how from there you kind of went into some crimes and ultimately into jail, right? Which is where
yeah,
you ran into somebody that said some powerful words to you that you had never heard from anybody else before, right?
absolutely. I ended up being sentenced to 15 years in prison for armed robbery and assault with a deadly weapon. And turned out for me, I don't know if people understand this, but for me, going to prison turned out for me to be a blessing,
Yeah, man.
because it was there that I met an educator. He was a teacher, and this was a man that just refused to give up on me. And I was in and out of solitary confinement, getting in trouble, and this man was a constant beacon in my life during my darkest time. And he ended up coming to me after I gotten into a fight, was thrown in solitary confinement. He came into my cell. He and I had had a lot of conversations up until that point, but he came inside my prison cell, and he said a lot of things I don't remember. But the main thing that I will never forget is he says to me, he says, "Prison doesn't have to be your life." Because at that point in time, I thought I was going to die in prison.
Yeah, man.
And he said, "Prison does not have to be your life." He said, "You can get out of here and you can do great things."
Yeah, man.
And He said some other things, and before he walked out of my cell, he looked me in my eyes and he said, "Mr. Humphrey." I said, "Yes, sir." He says, "Man," he said, "I believe in you." And, I tell people that was a turning point for me because I had never heard those words before. No
Right.
one had ever said that to me before.
Right.
People often say, "Well, your grandmother believed in you." Yeah, but my grandmother was born in 1920. She didn't express that. She
Right.
just, her deal with action.
Right.
The first person to look at me and say, "I believe in you. You can do great things."
Mm-hmm.
And early on, it became, when those words started to settle in, my whole life, I started to live it. I didn't want to let Mr. Lyles down.
Yeah, man.
I didn't want to let him down. So this man believed in me. I needed to change some things. But over time, his words became my words, and I started to believe in myself. And I started making changes. I started taking classes. I started certain groups inside the prison. And I really made a conscious effort to say, you know what? I got a shot. I can get out of here and I can do great things. And I ended up being paroled early. And that was over 20 years ago, man. And I've never been back,
Yes,
other than
sir.
to visit other people,
Right. Right.
run programs and try to help other people. So
And that's
that's,
that's the part I love. That's the icing on the cake. You lived it. You had the knockdown. You got back up, and not only did you just go sailing off into the sunset because you've got your good business and you're an educated man. So not only did you go running off into the sunset, but you're reaching back and you're continuing to lift and encourage and breathe words like "I believe in you." Breathing those words into other people. Tell us a little bit about that. What kind of impact has that had? Like, why have you made this decision? Once you had the belief in yourself and knew you could go out there and do it, what leads you to go back and help others?
you bring up a great point because I started speaking. I came to a crossroads in my life, but while I was in prison, actually I was in court, and I made a silent promise to my victim because my crime was a violent crime. I assaulted someone. Uh, but sitting in a courtroom, his daughter took the stand. And I don't talk about this very often, and she was no older than 10 years old. She takes the stand for the victim impact statement. And I'm sitting there shackled, and she looks at me and she says, "You took my Superman away from me."
Hmm.
Now, I didn't take her father's life, but what I understood that to mean was, I didn't have a father, but if I had one, I know I would have held him up on a pedestal.
Yeah, man.
And I felt that that's what she was telling me. I had knocked her father off of this pedestal, and I had ruined that image for her. And
Right.
10 years ago, that's what she told me. "You took my Superman."
Mm-hmm.
So I made a promise. I said, if I ever get out of prison, if I can ever turn my life around and achieve any level of success, that I'm going to reach back and I'm going to do something. I'm going to continue to pay it forward. I'm going to continue to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what led me into speaking. I got out of prison. I struggled for a long time, but once I got my life on track, met my wife, I was working. I had gotten out of that danger zone that most people return back to prison that first 3 years. I had
Mm-hmm.
surpassed that. And I said, it's time for me to repay. It's time for me to continue to repay my promise, like I had given to that girl. And again, I didn't say it out loud. I just said it in my mind.
Yeah, man.
But it was time, and I started volunteering in schools. I started working in different programs in my neighborhood, and it just kind of slowly led me to speaking.
Now, here's what I love. And you and I talked about it just a little bit before we even went live. What I love is that you were not a natural born speaker, right? Everybody thinks there's just this gift, just you just have this crazy ability to speak. So, but you were not a natural born speaker. You took your pain, took your story, and took your promise, and then put in the work to be on a platform that you're on now, speaking at the level that you're speaking now. Tell us just a little bit, let's dive into that just a little bit. Like what, obviously there's the irritant, there's the struggle. Like, I'm not real good at this. Maybe I don't even like standing. There's people in this group that are like, I have a story, but I don't want to, I don't want to get up in front of nobody and tell it. How did you push through that part of the struggle?
Well, one, I focused on my reason. That was very important to me, my reason for trying to share this story. But you're right. When my family, they see me on these videos and speak in front of all these people, and they call me and say, man, I can't believe that that's you. Because I'm an introvert. I don't talk a lot, but when I have something to say, if it's worth saying, I'll say it. But when I first needed to try to make the decision of sharing my story, I was given a platform to speak to some students, and they gave me half an hour.
Right.
And I got up there and I spoke for about 4 minutes, and I was nervous. It just didn't go as planned. Okay?
Right.
It felt like a half an hour.
I bet it did. Yes, sir.
And someone in that group came up to me and they said, hey, have you ever heard of Toastmasters? I had never heard of it. He quickly told me what it was. It's just an organization that can kind of help you get over the fear of public speaking. Mm-hmm. So that week, I Googled it. I saw what the potential was, and I joined the club that week, and it gave me a platform to be able to, a safe platform to be able to work on speaking in front of an audience that I was familiar with, sharing my story or a little different bits and pieces of my story. So that was my test. That was like my test run to see how people would receive my story. And they were very receptive. And I stayed in that program for a couple of years, and it just really helped me to get over my fear of public speaking. But not only that, but to also be able to tell my story and add humor to it.
Right.
To add all these different points to it, that when I first started telling my story, it was, here it is. People walked away like, whoa, I'm not sure I can shoulder this.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? It's just be heavy. But through Toastmasters, I learned it's okay for me to talk about my pain and to add humor, because that's really where the blessing comes in. It's telling people, your audience, that, I walked through the fire. I walked over this broken glass, but I'm okay. I made it through.
Right.
So that's what it taught me. So
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I'm going to ask you now. We're running these interviews always go by so fast. We're already running on 6 o'clock, and we got to respect everybody's time. And I do want to get your 2-minute takeaway. Before I go into a 2-minute takeaway, though, I'm going to ask you one other question real quick. So, knowing where you came from, the struggles that you've been through, knowing all the hard work that you had to put in to be able to speak, become a better speaker, so on and so forth, how did it feel? So your Goalcast video has like over 1 million views. So when that video went out and you saw that it was reaching so many people, what did that feel like? What was that moment like for you?
What that did is, I've had a lot of people email me and shoot me messages, but it confirmed that I made the right decision. Because we talked about this earlier. I'm a professional. I go to an office every day, and no one would have ever guessed that I had gone through this past. But I struggled with talking about it because I knew that there was a chance it would get out, or people that I worked with on a professional level would see this. But I said, you know what? The message is more important than what people think about me. And my promise to that little girl is more important. Forget what people think about me after they find out about my past. But I've got to tell you, it was a confirmation that I made the right decision, because so many people, their response was, you've touched my life. You've changed my life. Thank you.
I love it, man. I love it. The message was more important than what other people think about you. Incredible stuff. If you like it, or I should say, if you love as much as I do the words that are coming out of Ian Humphrey's mouth this morning. I want you guys to make sure to please share this show out. It's the least that we can do to honor my man Ian. He's up at 3:30 in the morning. He's fighting a cold. He's doing it all for you guys here on hashtag Rise and Grind. So please share this stuff out. Ian, before we let you go, I got to do one thing. I got to put you up on a mountaintop, okay? So you're up on top of the mountain. Imagine you're just up there. It's kind of like iRobot style, right? It's just you up on top of the mountain and all of civilization. We're all looking up at you. We're looking up and we're going, Ian, Ian, Ian. We're all cheering, right? Ian, Ian, Ian. And you got 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes to give us some type of takeaway, something that we can use in our life today, this week, this month, this year, something impactful. What are you going to say?
That's a great question. You from Kentucky, right?
Yes, sir.
That's where you're at. Well, I don't know if you know this, but one of my biggest idols is Muhammad Ali. Mm-hmm. And something that I talked about in a little bit of research. I went back and I wanted to look up when was the first time Muhammad Ali had ever been knocked down in his life. And when I learned about him, that he had fought in more than 200 fights and had never been knocked down. But on February 10th, 1962, Muhammad Ali was knocked down for the very first time in his life by a man named Sonny Banks. Mm-hmm. Now, when I look at that moment for Muhammad Ali, he could have laid on that canvas and he could have listened to all the people that told him he wasn't the greatest. He could have listened to all the doubters. He could have listened to all the naysayers. But he didn't do that. Muhammad Ali rose to his feet, dusted himself off, made sure he was still pretty, Glenn.
Right.
Beat Sonny Banks like a piñata. But here's what happened on that day, because I think a lot of people just saw a fight, but I believe something more important happened. And I believe that on that day, Muhammad Ali proved to the world. But more important than what he proved to the world is what he proved to himself. He proved that it's not about the knockdown. It's about the get up. Mm-hmm. He proved that it's about what we do after the knockdown. That's what truly defines who we are. Now, here's what I know about your listeners. Some of them are in positions right now where they're struggling. They're facing some things. They're facing some uncertainty. They might be down, but you're not out. For a number of years, I believe that I was out or that I was down. But today, I live by that motto. It's not about the knockdown. It's about the get up. And in this life, you're going to have to go through some things. You have to walk over some broken glass in order to get through your destiny. So my message to your listeners today is to just continue to keep walking, keep fighting, and remember that it's not about the knockdown. It's all about the get up. It's about what you do afterwards.
I love it. You might be down, but you're not out. Ian, my man, I got to tell you something this morning, man. You are an incredible, incredible human being. Uniquely made by the God of the universe to be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be, and you're doing it, man. You're out there, you're raising good kids, you're making an impact, you're fulfilling your promise to the 10-year-old girl, the mental promise that you made. You're out there and you're doing it, man, and all of these things are making an impact clearly on your friends, your family members, your coworkers, on everyone around you, and you've made a tremendous impact in my life, and I, for one, I absolutely love you for it, man. I appreciate it. Stinking love you. Thank you so much for joining us today on hashtag Rise and Grind. It means the absolute world to me, man. It means the world to me. I'm going to pop off real quick out of here. Stay here for just a second, and I'm going to switch back over to the other to the show so we can get the outro. But stay on for just a second, and then I'll let you go. All right, my man, anything you want to say before I pull you out?
Hey, I appreciate you. I appreciate your audience, and I continue to
rise. Working. Yes, sir. Where can they find you? I want to make sure we share that. Where can they find you and follow you?
They can follow me on Facebook, Ian Humphrey, Motivational Speaker. And I'm on YouTube, same Ian Humphrey, Motivational Speaker, Instagram. Everything's the same, or they can find me at Be Inspired, BEIANSPIRED.
Okay, beautiful. Be Inspired.com. I love that. Be inspired. That's beautiful, beautiful. All right, you hang tight. I'm going to switch back over here real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what an incredible incredible time with my man Ian Humphrey. I am so thankful that he came to join us. Give him a round of comments and thank yous and applause, social media style. And then I want you to go out there today and just have an incredible, spectacular, over-the-top day. I mean, you might have been knocked down. Yesterday might have knocked you down, but you got back up today, and you're still in it. Like he said, there's some broken glass we got to walk over to reach our destiny, but you're still in the fight. So let's get after it today. Let's have an amazing weekend. Just a phenomenal, spectacular, over-the-top weekend. And if you need more shows like this, you can go to GlennLundy.com. If you need some Rise and Grind gear, you can go to GlennLundy.com. And, of course, if you haven't got your tickets yet for Hustle and Grind Con, I'm telling you, you need to go get those. You can get those at GlennLundy.com as well. Have an incredible day today. I will see you guys Monday morning. We'll do it all over again, 5:30 a.m. on hashtag Rise and Grind.
Wake up, wake up, wake up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. Hashtag Rise and Grind, hashtag Rise and Grind. First thing on my mind, early in the morning time. Daily motivation, feeling so divine. Waking up the nation, hashtag Rise and Grind. Hashtag Rise and Grind, grind, 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 grind. Hashtag grind, hashtag Rise and Grind. First thing on my mind, early in the morning time. Daily motivation, feeling so divine. Waking up the nation, hashtag Rise and Grind. Hashtag Rise and Grind. Don't stop, stop, get it, get it. Hashtag Rise and Grind. Don't stop, stop, get it, get it. Waking up the nation, hashtag Rise and Grind. Waking up the nation, hashtag Rise and Grind. Good morning. On my feet before the sunrise, stepped into my greatness, feeling powerful and energized. Thankful to be alive. Hashtag blessed. Write my mission, vision, values, and my gratitude list. I'm building up momentum. I'm making good decisions. I rise, I grind, I get it. Ain't no doubt that I'm committed. Cause who really loses if I don't win? Can't cheat the grind, only get what you put in. So I'm mastering my mentals. I'm focused on my physical. I'm developing spiritually and manifesting miracles. I'm gonna get it started, have a party in the morning, and I'ma wake the world. It's so alarming.